Hello, Internet. So, you join me at a moment in time in which I am testing my mod's compatibilities. Are you hearing me now? Yes, I'm testing my mod's compatibilities and changes with compatibility with Gladius Plus and the voice mods. So we'll see how all this works. I'm just gonna do some observation of changes here as we fade out that and we bring in that. But they are active. I didn't get any errors on load, so that's a good sign. Yes, let's cycle all of that automatically. Audio. Huh. Oh, that also reminds me, I need to do a thing. If I do this. Oh, nope, gonna have to restart it. Because it's still putting out at the default. So let's get over here and grab this button and Gladius does not like binding to new audio. No, that doesn't appear to have fixed it. Let's something appears to have worked. Oh, fine by me. Let's turn that down just a little bit. And that about there. So, my thoughts here are that I will observe this game. There we go. I have included in the mixture a number of a number of, shall we say, changes to team balance for my mods. Not a lot of changes, but some. If I like how they look watching the AI work with them, I will I'll push them to public. Because I know that for a majority of people, the only way they're going to actually see the changes is if they're facing against them, or the AI is using them in some unintended way. So I'm just trying to take a look here and see what the AI would do with these changes. So I am, as I said at the start here, just a moment ago, using both Gladius Plus and the Voices mod in addition to mine. They are just lower down in the load order. The thing I'm pretty certain that they should be relatively compatible. And, letting things ferment, as it were, solidify. Some testing here. Doing some balance tweaks and changes. I should achieve a little bit better results. One of the things that I'm testing is the Imperial Guard have had their numbers of mechanized units reduced, as well as reduced in hit points. Playing with the gentleman by the name of Seth. Showed me that the Imperial Guard were a bit too overpowered, as well as the experience last night where we were playing as the Guard and rolling the enemy starter units. Now, there's a certain extent to which I believe those units should be powerful enough to hold up into the later game. Mid to late game, mid-game units should hold up in the late game. They shouldn't be just one shot blasted out of existence. They should have the durability to withstand those attacks and survive and be viable. Especially transport units like the Chimera, the aircraft that are the bread and butter. Charles. So, one of the other things that I did is I doubled the loyalty base boosts of the loyalty buildings for the Imperial loyalty building, the Space Marine loyalty building, and the Tyrannid loyalty building. Instead of 6, they are 12, except for the Imperial Guard, which is only 10. If I'm remembering my changes correctly here. Giving you much more of a reason to build those buildings. Because the loyalty boost on anything other than the most harsh of difficulties, doesn't really seem to do all that much, and it just limits expansion possibility. Now, the ability to sustain more cities, more combat potential is definitely a thing. More entrenched games is something that I want to see more of from the AI. More cities built means more territory to conquer. More territory to conquer means more fulfilling games. More chances to fight back or bite back against enemy movements or actions. I applaud Gladius who adapted Fog of War for their unit selection here, where I can click on unit and see that faction's Fog of War. That's very good. Something I wish was a thing with Nebulous. It's a feature. I guess it's probably an implementation of the limitations there. Oh, okay. Yellow is doing a relatively good job here. What have they built? They're going Sergeant Cogitator. What about the Space Marines here? They have gone Apothecarian. Now, the Guard being able to produce sergeants from the start. I think this is a valid thing. That's a good choice, I believe. What have these gone for? They have gone for acquiring tile. They are another turn away from producing a sergeant. They've gone for a Scola first. Interesting. Let's see how that turns out for them. Getting cadet units out early is a good idea, but I doubt it's that's why they're doing it. More loyalty is always a good thing. Let's see what the Tyranids are up to. More Ripper Swarms, Genetic Epicure. We have these team Brood Nest, and of course more Rippers. They are I still stand by my original point of Ripper Swarms taking a biomass to create, but none to maintain, in that the idea is that they're passively feeding off of their surrounding environment to maintain their upkeep. They rely on feeding on the passive environment around them in order to maintain themselves, and the rest of the units in the hive are dependent upon the hive for feeding. See, I remember when I first was playing this, feeling a little baffled as to why none of the Tyranids had Ripper Swarms, because they're quite integral to their invasions. The massed bodies of the Tyranid before them, the scuttling living carpets of Tyranid coming over the hills. Oh, yeah, they've destroyed that webway. Tyranid's doing well. We ought to start seeing Ripper Swarms come out any minute now from these various structures. They retreat. Heal up. This is going to be an interesting lineup here. We've got the two competing Militarum and Space Marine factions that are diametrically opposed there, each starting adjacent to the other in non-optimal ways, but they're far enough away here that I believe we will probably see the yellow Space Marines go down first, sandwiched between the white Astra Militarum and the dark purple Tyranid. I think they will probably be dominated first. It will probably come down to the white team versus the Tyranids. That's my early estimation here, based on positioning alone. The yellow teams will be too far away and too separated. There are too many enemies around to provide effective support to one another. And that yellow will be isolated and between two enemy factions. They will have a difficult time maintaining their position, as they'll have threats on both sides. It's going to be an interesting combat situation for them. It leaves a lot of leeway that isn't very good. It's going to have a very interesting outcome on things. leave this running here for a hot minute. I'll be right back as I go grab some coffee. We shall assess the tactical situation when I return. Right, well that's coffee on the brew and iced tea in the meantime. So let's see here, what do we have going on with the Tyranid? We have acquiring tiles more, Ripper Swarms on the way, Kinetic Epicure, and then this one is pushing for Brood Nest and Ripper Swarm, yeah? It continues. The White Marines Genitorium. They will be able to get Mechanicus units out quickly. Magus and Cadet unit, yes. Sadly, the cadet unit have some disturbing lacks of things, but you know, shall have to do. Sergeants on the way, acquiring more tiles. Cogitator Station has got them more influence. Armed with chain sword and bolt pistol. The sergeants have had their numbers reduced. Quite effective. That's another hive up for dark purple. Yes. And their capital foundation costs have been reduced greatly. 100 bio, 100 influence. For city number 3. They can consume a tile of biomass, 4 or 5 influence. I might need to reduce their foundation costs again. See, the idea between that balanced choice is that the unit that lets them found cities is also the unit that gets them biomass faster. So there's a choice to be made there. They can get more biomass faster, or they can found more cities where they can have a more gradual biomass increase. See, the cities are able to produce more biomass over time than the consumption of it from the world. Many of their structures also require biomass upkeep. One of the things I would have preferred to add would have been the ability for units defeated by the Tyranids to be consumed, their biomass to be the Tyranids to have a biomass boost, defeating units in battle, simply giving another bonus to the AI for defeating all of these random wandering enemies, and as well as other units. Making the ravenous cleansers more ravenous cleansers, seeking out units to defeat and consume, having every unit you lose be more biomass for them. So those losses against the Tyranids matter. Like, I've not just lost a unit, the biomass of those units has been incorporated into them. So you start having infantry units contribute to the biomass of the Tyranids, but not mechanical ones, so that using standard infantry units against the Tyranids becomes a thing that you don't want to do, simply because it would allow them to gain more biomass from you when they defeat them, or if they defeat them. Now, another thing worth mentioning is that the Ripper swarms, while they have so much difficulty doing damage, but there were so, like, the idea is that there were so many of them, and that the ability to build these in large swarms later lets you flood control points with these cheap units to bog down enemies, pin them in place, to flood their environments with this living tide and lock them down. It gives you a huge amount of battlefield control to be able to go, and I move 40 bajillion units surrounding your entire army, locking down a front line for my larger, more durable units to dance in and out of as I move these Ripper swarms around to kind of blockade a front line with a wall of bodies, and that my warriors or Carnifex can jump into this place in the formation, hit a unit, and fade back when it takes damage. The Ripper swarms being literally throwing your wall of living biomass at things to hold them in place. The AI doesn't necessarily seem to do that. And again, we shall see how these things turn out. Yellow team is getting their tactical space marines a little far afield from their fortress. That's leaving them in a dangerous position. They don't know it. The AI doesn't appear to know that they are in a dangerous position here, since they're letting their defensive units get pretty far away. They are planning to move over there. They aren't planning to move at all. The white militarum is losing units and morale. That's a sergeant dead. That's the yellow taking some fire on the hybrids there. Neophyte hybrids fighting back. Yellow militarum is moving in and attacking. Oh, enslavers in light purple's base area. That's definitely not good for them. That enslavement ability will definitely be able to be triggered on Tyranid units. See, that is an action I wish Tyranid players were able to do, to take control of the Gene Stealer or hybrid units in the map. That would be quite useful. I know the Tau have an ability that allows them to commandeer the Crouthounds. Would it be that difficult to engineer a Tyranid ability to control the neophytes or the hybrids? Now, I think it would be rather interesting if shall we say, Gene Stealer cult got its own faction update. I think that would be quite interesting. That's one thing I'm relatively certain that I don't like, though, is the, well, these ancient artifacts providing army-wide bonuses just, they don't make sense. They just don't. It doesn't matter, though. Doesn't matter. Not to be done about it. They're a core part of the game. path. Yellow pushing out north to expand, and they really don't have the room for it. They're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's white taking down the webway gate. I don't know why the AIs are always so obsessed with destroying those webway gates. They just seem blood-bound and determined to destroy them whenever they see them. And it makes me wonder, it's like, why? Why would you commit your forces that long to doing that for so long when it's not a threat to you in any way? But yes, in addition to my other feature thoughts on the bottom of my primary mod page, there's a list of suggestions and ideas that I thought would be useful in a future date. Let me pull it up real quick. Veteran Marines. Ideas for future things. Supply stockpiles. Large, single-time boost tiles. Supplies sealed away in subterranean vaults by the Adeptus Ministorum for later shipment and deployment. So it's a tile that when collected gives additional requisition or power or biomass or just something additional to the units that open it as a single-use kind of item, where you have these points of there's a reason to rush, a reason to hurry, to expand, to get out there and to seize all of these resources, because the first one there gets it and everyone else gets an empty storage facility. And equipment vaults. A tile which deploys a random basic unit on claim, a buried armory full of equipment from the defense forces of the planet ready to use, lacking only the personnel to wield it. And that's as applicable to any faction, really. The Tyranids melt down the chemical components and storage and batteries and metals to absorb the nutritional value of the stored munitions and rations for an extra unit of Tyranids, or Chaos sells or trades or corrupts the armory and its contents for their own purposes, while the Militarum uses it for its intended purposes, and it supplies a unit. The concept of the Comrays, a capturable building that provides a greater vision radius to the units that sit within it, so that you have points on a map that it's useful to keep a unit there because it expands their vision range to something, terrifyingly huge, where you go, okay, that's valuable as an intelligence point. It gives me a wider battlefield awareness of an area. Ship ruins, orbital debris tile, random resource bonuses per turn, or just per item found, where it's another tile that you don't know what it's going to do for you until you control it. It's another reason to rush or to try to find out, to push out there and to grasp these spaces faster or first. Yeah, unknown debris of some ship or vessel lodged in the planet's surface. So it's a chunk of engineering from a ship's reactor, or a chunk of logistics warehousing from a ship that's full of cargo, or a massive chunk of bridge segments with comm sensors and arrays that provides increased intelligence gathering, or something along those lines. that there are options for these things. I would like to see a similar mechanic for the orcs. When orcs die, they leave the fungus on the ground. I would like to see a similar tile effect for Imperial or Tyranid units, where there's a after effect of the deaths of those units. That a battlefield that has been embroiled and fought over has affected the ground itself. Where you'd have, old blasted trench lines littered with the corpses of the dead, dying, the unclean, with an unhealthy scattering of undetonated munitions. Have these places of, blasted battle zone where, the death of an Imperial unit has left corpses and munitions strewn everywhere. That's a danger to anyone who would dare enter it. These things can be done. I believe there are ways to do these things. They're just beyond me. Let's end the turn and kick things along, shall we? It's still early game, turn 15. The wildlife is still dictating the early game responses. I would say that leaving the sergeant units at one man instead of a squad has made it possible for them to be useful still to the overall battle, but not have them be overpowered. There is a way to reinforce the existing units by giving them more support, as it were. That extra man can make quite a difference. The Tyranid's ability to produce Ripper Swarms is definitely going to add up later. You see how they're able to move around quite freely because of their bonuses and stats. The Ripper Swarms are able to hunt down the enslavers, whereas many other units aren't. They can keep up with their flight evasion because of their ability to move through cover, hit and run, and fleet. They've got the ability to chase these things down and recover their mind-controlled units, but they do have to worry about these. The Psychenium. These things are heavily dangerous to the Tyranid players because they can replicate quickly with their units. The enslaver is still alive, but only just. That unit of Rippers did not live long surrounded as it was. And as you saw, it died and produced another unit of the bugs. Parasitical breeders are a threat to the parasites. And yeah, like I was saying, I would appreciate a ability of the Tyranids that would let them exert control over the neophytes. That would would be highly entertaining to me. If I remember correctly, I did actually give it to one of their units. I'll just have to look at which one. Compendium. Units. Tyrannid. Is it them? No. Yes, them. I shall have to consider the possibility of adding the enslave ability on the as a Tyrannid world ability. But how to make it apply only to the neophytes? Or how to make it a limited time thing? I shall have to think about implementing a way for the Tyrannids to produce external structures, much like the Imperium, without founding cities. That would liven things up a bit, as it were. I do occasionally like to be able to hear myself think. So, well, with the balance tweaks, I think things are getting a little closer to something I'd appreciate. A little better. A slightly reduced guardsman unit numbers from what the mod was having them at is definitely having the intended effect. They aren't just stomping through. The sergeants being a single unit is making a difference, but also making it so that it's not impossible to use or worthless. I think the Ingeseers are fine where they're at. The Tyranid units continue to be problematic to balance properly, but they're coming along. They're about to lose that city structure if they don't kill that Imperial Bastion. And those passives are not... The Sicaniums are continuing to be a problem for the Tyranid player. It's still a thing. And they're still losing their swarms to the bugs. The bugs are being fucked with by the enslavers and the other bugs. The infestation ability continues to be the bane, because the cheap disposable Ripper Swarms get killed and then they become more bugs. Enslavers are always going to be an issue for every side. They've lost that city because of the Imperial Bastion. AI is going around stomping things, including the guard. I think the yellow player only has the sergeants left. The Imperial Space Marines are still deploying tactical marines in good quantity. They're about to use their guardsman unit. They've deployed another sergeant. Balance of power between the Imperial factions continues to wane. Not be overly conflicted, I believe. The purple Tyranid is now starting to produce Ripper Swarms in good quantity and has founded a new city. I'm thinking that for the Tyranid faction, I need to reduce their city costs again. I think that's the thing I need to do. I think I need to reduce the cost of founding cities. So that you see more of them, that they expand faster. It's definitely a thing that should happen more. Oh, hello, Mogul Mail and Shypuff. Wasn't aware I had viewers. Hello. Let's see here. What else is going to go on here? Oh, first unit of cadets on the field. The light purple continues to be rather difficultly cordoned off on the side here. Let's take a look at what's going on here. We have reclamation pools, another brood nest, the alpha oppository. What are they doing? They have tactical marines construct arming chambers. Yeah. Okay, that's a thing. They're going for those. What about the white team? Space Marines. What are they doing? They are also constructing arming chambers. Population limit 3, loyalty 3, production 8. It is hard for the AI to say no to that building. Militarum, another sergeant on the way, Cult Mechanicus, Magos. Ooh, more fighting on the edge of territory. More mind-controlled Termagants. The enslaver over here is recovering health. Yellow team is... I'm pretty certain my earlier assessments of the situation are going to fall through. That the Yellow Space Marines are going to be the first to fall out of sheer positioning alone. In that they're going to be sandwiched between the dark purple Tyranids and the white Astra Militarum, and it will be too much for them to keep up with. Now, right now, we are seeing the end of the initial securing of the area around bases. The AI players have finally kind of started getting beyond the areas immediately adjacent to their drop locations, to where they've landed, as it were. So they're finally pushing out a little bit, expanding their areas of control into the neutral faction, getting more space to work with. And light purple is just sitting there, not doing much or going very far. They appear to be playing the long game, as it were. Yeah, those rippers are about to die, so they dare not move them too close. But yes, I was going to check this. Yeah, more sergeants. Cult Mechanicus, more cadets on the way. Yeah, not enough resources, not enough mining. So they need to get more ore in the works. What about them? Sergeants? Officio Tactica. They have a Scola and it's making a Magos. Yeah, the Magos is servo arms, omnicized blessing, and enslavement. That enslave ability is powerful if you can pull it off on a broken unit. An advanced enough broken unit that can really buff your combat ability, but the ability to seize a unit of low morale is definitely an advantage. They are firing on neophytes. Yellow continues to push north into the neutral faction when they have a threat on their doorstep. They are securing territory in the south here next to their base. The altars What do the altars do again? Features. Skull altar, special feature. Provides influence. Charging, 8 turns. Skull altars. What? What does that mean? What? Hold on. Skull altars. Rising from the ground, yada from the grisly petal priest of corn, roars out invectives, invoking the judgments of the blood gun. It says nothing about charging. Who else has an altar at the moment? Unexplored. So a unit hasn't gone in there yet. It's just been taken by a fortress. Alright. Mind-controlled unit of Termagants versus a Ripper Swarm. Ripper Swarm has managed to kill a few. Yes, the purple's gonna have a hard time. They are stuck in between some difficult neutral enemies. The Catachan Devils are not easy ones to get rid of. Well, light purple's been up here pretty much by itself. Haven't been expanding very much. Then again, they have been down here dealing with the Psychonium. Whatever the fuck they're called. These crazy fucking space bugs. The parasitic murder hornets from space. So yeah, light purple's been getting all of their units killed by them, which is the reason they are all over the damn place. Because it started out as just one. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of the flying fucking parasitic space bugs. Oh, and the enslavers probably haven't been helping either. More sergeants deployed. Yellow is doing better. Not great, but better. Oof. Sergeant is dead. Skola, the cadet unit, is broken. And retreating with health. White continues to push forward with Magi. And not Magi, but Mechanicus units. We'll see how well this goes for them. Lots of this. Yeah, the Ripper Swarms continue to be useful to the Dark Purple as they've expanded with them, but they are not going to hold the day if they don't keep up with it. Light Purple continuing to hold the line, as it were, against the bugs. The bugs, they fight amongst themselves, and there's not much to be done about it. The Tyranid player, or the Tyranid AI, really has to get on top of these things. They are definitely a huge threat. But what are they doing? They are producing a Ripper Swarm. And they're making the Thorps that lets them expand. And they're producing primes, a synapse node, and more rippers. Yeah, they could be cranking out rippers, but that would be no more building upgrades. Once they've built all the buildings they want to build, they'll start cranking out rippers. They're also going for the expansion building, the Thorps. They are also doing the same. It's only 25 turns in, and these games typically last somewhere around 100 turns or more in that range. So we're about, in theory, a quarter of the way through the game. Because really, they just have to have a clear path to one another before they can start lobbing units at each other. It's whoever can keep up that flow of units into the enemy more so than the other that ends up winning. For instance, the White Militarum player appears to be struggling with expansion. So they're producing cadets and absorbing more tiles. And they have yet to actually make a barracks. I do feel that, oof, yeah, no, they're in trouble. You're fighting a Castellan with one unit of tactical marines. They need to retreat. Or they're gonna get smashed. They're probably gonna get smashed anyway. See, they just aren't able to do the damage to keep the bugs down, so they keep killing their early units and feeding off of them. That unit of primes might be able to change the course of this. Something a little beefier does a little more damage. Yeah, broken morale, broken morale. Broken morale. And that enslaver can just pop over and seize control of these units at any time. A unit of broken morale is definitely weak to enslaver control. I do believe they don't even have to be broken. They just have to be below a certain number. I will have to look that up real quick and Let's see what that ability is that the enslave is based on. Well, don't mind that. Okay, let's see. North buildings, world units, Tyranids. Oh wait, no, it will be ability, won't it? And it will be in base game. So we're gonna want to go browse local data. We want world. We want upgrades. No, we want units. Neutral. Slaver. The trait? No. Mind control. Let's see. What are you called? Interesting. To give me a hot second here. I'm paging through multiple tabs of bullshit. Okay, where is it? No, it's not that. Or is it that? Nope. Where is the ability? Okay, so it's not units. Trait. There's the enslaved trait. But not the action of enslaving. Let's try features. Fermentation pool, forest. Nope. It's around here somewhere. No. Nope. Let's try. Where is the ability? It's around here somewhere. What? Where, oh where? Yeah, units neutral. Enslaver. Enslaver, add trait name, mind control. So it's a trait. Units, traits. There it is. No, mind control is the debuff of -2. So, where is enslave? there is enslaved. I do not remember how it was added. This is most concerning. I shall have to endeavor to find where it has become hidden. Because in the, if I remember correctly, there was a trait that lets you see the amount of morale they needed to have in order for it to take effect. Let us continue to dig, shall we? Into the depths of the game files. Yeah, mind control is the ability to do the debuff around itself. So... let's see. Where, oh where could it have gone? No, not a faction. I wonder where it is. Let's perhaps take another look. No. That's not it. Ah, yes, there it is. Haha. Found it. Okay. It is on the unit itself with the ability. That is what gives it the ability. That gives it the limits. It requires an enemy with 6.5 or less morale. So, the unit doesn't have to be broken, it just needs to have no, or near extremely low morale. Whereas I believe the Enslaver, yes, has the same default. So if a unit has 6.5 or less morale, it can be enslaved. Now that is not a lot of units that have that. Most have more than that. By at least a point or two. The Vespid Stingwings can always be enslaved with a morale of 5. Psychenium, morale of 6, can always be enslaved. The Ripper Swarms, morale of 2, can always be enslaved. Sergeant, morale of 9. Resistant to enslavement. Cadets, doubly so. Magos, very resistant. Yeah, Magos 10. Cadets 12. Normal Guardsmen 3. The Conscript Guardsman, 3 morale, always able to be enslaved. Prime on the field with a support battalion of Ripper Swarms. Light purple might just be able to recover this. Dark purple has a sizable chunk of unitage out. The influence is dropping. They're at negative loyalty. Difficulties. Chapter Serfs, Veteran Marines, Magos. The Yellow Space Marine player has kept their tactical marines, despite what I thought. The White Administratum player is the one in danger. Tactical Space Marines can be enslaved, but it is a dangerous proposition. And yeah, they have morale regeneration that's quite good. So breaking Space Marines and enslaving them is a bit difficult. difficulties here to see what will come of all of this. What will transpire with these difficulties? I will say I am actually happy to see that the Militarum players are not simply rolling through all the other teams. Then again, it is only turn 30. Most teams are only barely expanding beyond their initial borders. I'd like to think that maybe, perhaps, some of the choices I've made it add a little bit of tactical flexibility to some of the way this game works. There are a lot of things in this game that are very unbalanced. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But there's a lot of shit in here that you look at and you go, why the fuck would you do that? Slovene has definitely, I will applaud them that they've done a good job with the game. As a game. But, yeah, there's a lot of balanced choices they've made that I would feel are strange or odd. Odd choices. There's definitely a lot of it that made me question reality. Unit sizes, for one. For making such a big deal of following unit statistics, like number of wounds and things, having a direct conversion method for those things. It struck me as odd of how they went about implementing a bunch of those things. It made me question. Like I said, the thing that drove me to start modding it in the first place is the Tyranid not having Ripper Swarms. Like it having Ripper Swarms be a side note mentioned in one of their unit abilities. Symbiote Rippers for the Carnifex, I think one of being one of the only abilities to mention them. Beyond the city's tile expansion mechanic being facilitated by Ripper Swarms. Unseen Ripper Swarms, mind you. You don't see them, they just clear the tile. So yeah, it made me go, is not one of the first signs of a Tyranid infestation growing in the area, Ripper Swarms, Rippers as thick as rats, found in hives or around settlements where you go, oh, Tyranid beast forms have been seen in the wilderness, Some early Tyrannosign has been seen. Rippers have been seen in the ducts in the cities, or preying on local wildlife. Well, it makes sense, is that they would be sending out Ripper Swarms to consume biomass in the surrounding areas. And having those be things that the units could actually fight and have out there to use in mass to fight the enemy is a thing that the swarm would do. You should be able to see the living tide of Tyranid units. Much like the tabletop game, they've got the Ripper Swarms as a ball of Rippers that they use in clustered groups to swarm the enemy. And while individually not effective, they give a Tyranid player who knows how to use them effective battlefield control, because most units have to follow the territorial control rules of I can't move past a unit that's hostile. Rippers ignore that. Now, so do sergeants and commissars for the Imperial side. But then, that's part of their advantage there, is that those units are designed for those purposes. They don't normally have units that fill those niches, that give them the ability to ignore those terrain and encounter lockdowns of, I've got a wall of Tyranids that I need to get through, and I need a guy to go grenade this thing. I need a sergeant to run in there with one grenade and go finish the thing off. Of the Tyranid Carnifex has retreated from the front lines, and I can't get my normal units up there in time. Well, I can run the sergeant through the one wide gap that the Tyranid Carnifex has just left in the lines. I can run the sergeant up and hit it or grenade it and kill it. And that brings to light the heroic moment of the lone sergeant charges the lines and goes, "Not today, beast!" and throws the last grenade that kills the thing before it can escape. Or charges forward and plugs the hole in the lines of, "They'll overwhelm us, not today!" And, a lone sergeant charges out in front of the enemy and keeps them from flowing through the gap in the lines. More possibilities for heroic interactions on that level, more tactical flexibility, I think is definitely a thing. Yeah, see, the white player has gotten more guard units out. They've been able to stem the tide using the Scola and the Magos to kind of hold off the Marine player, and are now pushing out. And yeah, the white Space Marine player is having a hard time dealing with Castellans, which is always the bane of many players, is those goddamn fucking robot bastards stomping their way around going, "Fucking tanks!" They're late game area control denial units that spawn randomly. And if you're unlucky, they're on top of you. If you're not, you're fine. Yeah, dark purple has quite a force growing out here, and so does light purple. They're starting to really get a ball of units going, and they're starting to consume the area for more biomass. They're spending their influence to expand their biomass count and push more units out. So the downside for the Tyranid players is the purple is crushed into this corner, so that advantage of massed units is going to be difficult to pull off. So they've got to use high quality units instead. See just how many of those fucking flying bugs there are? God damn. They're really boned. Those units are tough. Now, mind you, they don't have any armor at all, but they've got the hit points and the flight range to go neener, neener, neener. Yeah, Termagants, Tyranid Prime, they might be able to pull it off with those, but the Ripper Swarms just don't have the power to do it. Yeah, and the Tyranid players are going to have a hard time with those Imperial positions. Those 5 heavy bolters are just a fucking bane. Imperial heavy bolters are the answer to mass units. High rate of fire, high damage. Yellow team is definitely pulling it along. They aren't winning outright by any means, but they are giving white a run for its money. And the white team is contesting with 4 Castellan robots moving in on the Space Marine players to the north. That is bad news. Those things are deadly. The fucking bugs. Look how many there are now. If they don't use something more advanced than Ripper's forms to take those things on, they're just gonna keep massing in number. There will just be more and more and more and more of them. Oof. That's a thing for players that are facing off against my Tyranids to keep an eye on. Is if you encounter a large Psychenium swarm, know that there's probably a Tyranid player on the other end of that swarm. Simply because they can farm the NPCs pre-chant for producing large Ripper swarms to end up meaning large amounts of their fucking space parasite murder wasps. It's never a good thing. Excuse me. Oh, that's the thing. Here we go. Sorry about that delay. Just puttering things along. We will continue to see how well these things work out here. What exactly will be the outcome of all of this madness? Insanity incarnate, as it were. There's a lot of different options these players can use here. I'm interested to, like I was saying before, I'm interested to see what the AI does with the changes. Considering that I don't have many people to test with, I have to rely on the AI and what it does with things. Which can be sporadic at best, since the AI is not overly exposed to me in what it does and why. What it's attempting to do. I think to guess at what the AI is doing and why is definitely a thing of, well, that's all I can do is try and figure things out and go from there and see what ends up working and what ends up being left behind, as it were. I will say I was happy when I got these units to actually be used. But as that has continued, it's definitely been evident to me that there's a lot of things that I need to change. For instance, I I still don't know how to get them to use the fortifications. Because apparently the Space Marine player, or Space Marine AIs don't bother with the colonization score, which the Imperial fortifications use. And apparently even the Imperial faction doesn't use it very often, because they don't really use their Imperial bastions. I really do not very often, besides the Space Marine player, which uses their Fortresses of Redemption to lock down points, see the AIs ever building any fortifications. They focus on units and pumping them in the direction of the enemy, seemingly. So it's definitely a... I would like to figure out why. Oh, goodness. Those castellans are deadly dangerous. And not much to be done about it. Because the AI will build cities, they just don't seem to build fortifications of any kind. Or they just aren't hooked up to value them. Oof. Danger. They are definitely in a dangerous position. Now see, that confuses me. That right there, Twitch. Twitch, why? See, you're telling me I have 2 viewers, but I can clearly see the only person chat is telling me is there is Mogul Mail. For some reason. But, you know, we shall see how this works. Let's see. Yeah, they're in trouble. They have got to kill those bugs, because if they don't, they're just going to keep picking off their units one by one as the Ripper Swarms get surrounded and murdered, because they just don't have the strength to oppose them. Well, I'm going to leave this running. It's not like I could pause it anyway. It's my coffee should be done brewing, so I shall return in a hot moment. We shall see what happens here with the shaken light purple Tyranids. Okay, with coffee obtained, let us see what has transpired while we were away. Not much. The Psychenium slips continue to be everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 units of the flying bugs. That's 9 Ripper Swarms or others that have died to the neutral faction bugs and increased their power rather dramatically. That's going to be more dead Ripper Swarms here in a second. The Catachan Devils, they have got to get their heavier hitters in a place to attack those units. Because if they don't, they're just going to continue to sit there and gnaw away at the heart of the Tyranid power. It's going to be a difficult thing for them to deal with. Now see, now Twitch is telling me I have 2 viewers, but that there's only one user in chat called Orthoduck. Or Ortho DUK. Yes, if we get new people here, just a second ago, then if you are indeed watching, then what I'm doing is I'm doing rebalanced testing for my 3 mods that modify, respectively, the Space Marines, the Astra Militarum, and the Tyranid, with a 3-way battle of 2 Tyranids versus an Astra Militarum and a Space Marine player, respectively. So that there's the 2 Tyranids on their own faction, and there's yellow and white. Yellow and white are a Astra Militarum and a Space Marine player. And right now the Tyranids are struggling to deal with the psychic bugs with their infestability. It's giving them quite a bit of trouble because the Ripper Swarms that I've added for the Tyranids are quite easy to kill. They have gotten the Tyranid Prime to within range with these neutral units. Hopefully with the Turbulence are actually going to be able to start taking these things down and removing them from the field. It would be quite a good thing. Malanthorpes, huh? Shadow in the Warp, Spore Cloud, Synapse Creature, Subterranean Assault, Grasping Tail, Consume Tile, Clear, and Found City. You might notice that is slightly... yeah, that's more expensive there. 150. It is cheaper to found with those than with the Rippers. The scaling is still there. There's still a factor that is still prohibitive. It is more efficient for the Tyranid player to have fewer larger cities for their usage in biomass. Yeah, biomass too. It takes 19, you get 2, upkeep of 1 influence. Yeah, there'd be a lot to do here. Instinctive behavior, they're shaken. Yeah, morale of 2. 0 of 0 morale. They cannot be broken. Neither can they, apparently. What? What has gone wrong here? How is this a thing? Yeah, 2 of 4. 0 of 2. 0 of 2. I do not understand. Something fucky is going on. Oh, synapse link. Max of 0, 0. Yeah, the synapse link means they can't be broken. They can only have morale and be broken when they're outside synapse range. Doi! Yeah, and they are broken because they've been far enough away from synapse that they are just empty of morale. Doi! Just when they have morale, they have 4. So yeah, purple is expanding to the north and the south. They are still having difficulty dealing with the bugs. Crazy parasite murder hornets, that they are being dealt with. Slowly. There are so many of them. Nope, that's just that's a new unit that spawned right there. As a unit of Rippers died, they became more bugs. Now, am I not the only one thinking the other way around should be happening here? That they should be doing something about that? Hello. That's Scola cadet unit going down. More units coming out. These early game unit abilities are critical. Tech Priest Injiciators, Magos Cadets, Sergeants are probably the only reason that Administratum player isn't dead. Hello! See, chat is once again informing me that Mogul Mail and Orthod UK are in the chat here. That's interesting. So, hello. It seems to have strange timing of when it tells me people are actually here. So yeah, it continues to be an interesting thing. But yes, I can say that this is as well a totally successful test of Gladius Plus and my mods on top of one another working just fine. Having the Gladius Plus and the More Voices mods listed after mine appears to be working wonderfully fine. Things continue to appear to be working just fine. The Tyranid AI is still having difficulty dealing with these bugs, although they are now more damaged than alive, as they've gotten more advanced units on the field to actually deal with them. They continue to be much easier to deal with. Shadow in the Warp. Spore Cloud! See, I thought that was quite... See, it should do more than that. Increases the range damage reduction of adjacent allied units. That's all it does? That's it? It makes them slightly harder to see at range, and thus harder to hit. Oh. It's ranged damage reduction. It makes it so that weapons do less damage. Okay, well that seems kind of a dodgy way to add miss percentage, but yes. Volcana Shroud, Alpha Warrior, Adaptive Biology, Subterranean Assault, Shadows in the Warp, Synapse. It's leveled up and is using items. Which fire damage reduction? Let's see what yellows are up to. Yellows. Yellow Marines. -2 power. See, that's something else I've noticed, is that the AIs seem more than willing to go into the negatives when it comes to resources. So they're producing another arming chamber. See, loyalty +3, population +3. What is the White Space Marine player building? They are building a refractory for more requisition. Yeah, they have one arming chamber, a genitorium, orbital relay, a similarium. Mechanicus, basic administration. Yeah, they've been producing units pretty much solid. The Labor Corps isn't doing anything because I think they're using up all of their resources on building units. It's definitely a thing. All right. They do appear... No, there's still Castellan robots everywhere. They just aren't up in their grill anymore, except for this one. Rogue Enslaver. Okay, why are the neutral units using combat abilities when there's no other units anywhere near them? Yellow's producing more sergeants. See continuing changes here. Balance of power hasn't overly shifted. Yellow still, not getting sentenced to death in the early game is definitely a thing. Twitch is now telling me that I have one viewer, and I have a Loki Ovich, a Mogul Male, and a Orthode UK in my chat list here. And it's very much hello, brother. How are you doing? We continue to see this battle going on. Light Purple has secured most of their northern side and continues to expand that way. Let's see here. Yeah, Purple continues to... It's already consumed some of its surrounding area in a early biomass push. And, oh yeah, they've really stripped out a bunch of their area for biomass. One, two, three, four, five, six. They've only killed 3 of these neutral units that are basically copies. Lo and behold, I actually get a response. Hello, brother. I noticed you were here the other day. You didn't say anything. I'll see, those Castellans are going to be a pain in the ass. To explain what I'm doing for my brother, I'm testing some modifications that I've made for this game here. So I've changed some unit distributions, some unit sizes, costs and things, and different... Made some small changes here and there. I'm watching the AI utilize them. Lurking in the background while watching other streamers. Now see, I don't get how people do that. Like, you have one stream up that you're actually paying attention to and you just have others just open or silenced. I suppose that's part of it, as I don't really get lurking. It's fine. Well, you definitely missed it the other day when there was a big old pile of people in my chat, quote unquote, in my chat, just lurking. And I was like, I don't like lurkers. I kind of don't like lurkers. You sit there, you don't contribute. Yeah, you're giving a number, but if you're going to be here and be part of the stream, then you should say something and interact. Because if you don't, I'm going to believe you're a bot. And probably ban you. Because I don't like bots. So, I'm of the opinion of if you're going to be in a chat, you say something, you be involved. Because if you linger for more than a few hours and you don't say anything, I'm just going to believe that you're either A, someone's fallen asleep on their phone, so Twitch has just shunted them off onto someone else, which happens when people get redirected to different streams, or you're a bot. And if you're a bot, I'm not going to let you farm my content for views on someone else's channel. So, yeah. I don't like having my content farmed by bot channels. Yeah. But yeah, in this game here, it's all AI. I'm not doing nothing. It's watching them work and figuring out how, trying to see how the AI is using the units I'm giving it and what its priorities are. Say, for instance, I'm very surprised that the white Administratum player here is still alive against an onslaught of Space Marines. They're still alive. Partially, I believe, because the yellow player has refused to fully commit to attempting to wiping them out, so they've been dancing at the edge of their unit ranges. See, I was making predictions at the start that the yellow Space Marine AI was going to get crushed by the purple and the white Extra Militarum because of their positioning. But the purple... The Tyranids have been so busy dealing with the neutrals that they haven't done anything else. And so that's left the conflicting teams of Extra Militarum and Space Marines to fight each other. And so it's left a very fractured kind of battle map of the yellow Space Marine player is actually pushing ahead quite soundly with a good number of units. And the white Astra Militarum player, or AI, has just struggling to keep units in the field, fighting back the Space Marines. Yeah, you see how purple is now, with the more advanced units, able to start pinning down and removing those neutrals. This is something that should have been done dozens of rounds ago. The AI is only just now getting around to it because they've actually got the more advanced units to use and to fight them with. On here we have, yellow. They're producing veteran Space Marines. Oh, this is going to be good. Yeah, veteran Space Marine units are no joke. I'm actually wondering why white hasn't done it yet. Not enough resources. Oh, because they're running out of requisitions. So they're using most of theirs. But yeah, no, I would be playing, but I just felt that it would be faster to just see an overall battle with a lot more variables involved to see how things are going from a testing point of view. if I just spectate the AI, because that's what I'm going to end up seeing the most of, is AI using stuff. Doing it myself is very slow and very inefficient, so letting the AIs use it, I get to see a much wider array of results quicker. I would play multiplayer, but you know there aren't that many people playing this game. Unfortunately, kind of a good game. I kind of enjoy it, you know, a bit. So finding people to play this multiplayer with is a bit harder, especially people willing to do mod testing with it as well, where it's experimental changes. I haven't uploaded these mod modifications yet because I wanted to see how they were going to work out in a game first, and it's also testing the combination of my mod with 2 other mods on top of it, or on top of them, I should say. Gladius Plus and the Voices mod that are also in the mod list for this round, and it's working pretty dang well. It's looking like it's, you know, all the modifications have stuck well enough, and it's, you know, it's fine by me. Things are working, and that's all I really have to do. And that's a thing, that's a base game thing of, for some reason, the AI hates, just despises webway gates. Just, they must be destroyed above all else. They must ignore hostile units nearby that are neutral and kill the webway gate. They just zealously focus on destroying the things. They find them, they kill them. It's definitely something that I find very confusing, because they see the gate, they must destroy it. It's like, the fuck? Why? It doesn't even have any weapons. It is definitely not a threat. Definitely not a threat, and yet every AI will focus blowing the fuck out of it with every unit available. Like, that's one of Dark Purple's most advanced units, and they're using it to spray the webway gate when they've got units that are actively doing their units' damage behind them, that are actively attacking and destroying their units, and they're busy killing this, which can't do a fucking thing by itself. Absolutely goddamn nothing. Like, if I could reprogram the AI to fucking ignore these things, I would. Because they should. They should not be sending their entire fucking army up here to eat this. That's dumb. That is the epitome of stupid. Oh, but Eldar players, I don't care. Okay? If there's Eldar around, then destroy the webway gates. But every other set of circumstances, it makes no fucking sense. Because they're ignoring the enemies around them that are actually doing them damage to fight the webway gate. And the webway gate can't attack them. It literally has no attacks. At all. And yet it is the vital threat that must be destroyed. It makes no fucking sense. Like, I understand the balance there is that the AI must be programmed that way, or the Eldar players will be able to waffle stomp through the AIs because they can just take all the webway gates. But it's just dumb. It's just really fucking dumb. But, oh, yeah, other than that, if you did want to play it with me and do games of this, that would be fun. It would be a thing we could do together. It would be quite entertaining. This is a good game for strategic thinking, as it were. Well, yeah, that'd be a fun thing to do. I would definitely have to see about arranging some funds to send, so you could buy it, or just buy it for you and send it to you. It is not a cheap game, I will say that. It is definitely a game that is expensive because of its pricing model. All of the expansions cost money. Goodly chunks of it too. It's not a game you want to get unless you really are going to get your money's worth out of it. And I don't know if that applies for you, and it does for me, or at least so far. I'm not going to buy the Mechanicus update, frankly, because I don't think they deserve the money, and I don't think that it's done well enough to warrant. Like, I'm not going to play the Mechanicus faction. Sorry. I don't think I'm going to value them as an opponent, so I don't think I'm going to get it. I think I can live without the Mechanicus update. Yeah, purple continues to have things are coming along. Let's see, that's enslavers. That's bad news. That's the not good news. They are going to have to kill them quick. Yeah, morale of 2. They can be enslaved at any time. 2 more rounds until their enslavement cools off. Those tournaments are almost dead. Yes, exactly. Very much like the old Civil War games or the Alpha Centauri game. There's a lot of depth to it, and less diplomacy, more domination. Yeah, there's that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, White Astra Militarum continues to have difficulty holding its territory against the Yellow Space Marines. They should have a unit of advanced did they not make a unit of... Yeah, veteran Space Marines. Tactical Space Marines. No, those are veterans. Let's see. The AIs, they really do continue to struggle to remove those enslavers. They just keep popping their units. Let's see here. Dormitories. Yeah, that's population limit 3, loyalty 3. Population limit 6. Same price, only population. See, the sacrifices there are that the arming chamber has the commensurate loyalty bonus, because each population lowers your loyalty. So if you build arming chambers, you're only getting 3 population, but they're 3 loyal population. If you do the habitation, the dormitories, it's 6 population, but you then have to get the loyalty bonus from somewhere else. That, I believe, is more of a choice. Like, if you want to build pop and have the ability to produce units quickly, building arming chambers is your thing, because they stay loyal. But it's still more power. The dormitories, you get the population limit, but you don't get the loyalty bonus, which means if you go all of your population through dormitories instead of arming chambers, you're gonna have issues later on where you're gonna have to get the loyalty building. Factions, units, Adeptus, no, not Adeptus, we want Spasmarans. There's... where? Oh, it'll be buildings, won't it? Traits, no. Weapons, no. Buildings. Spasmarines. Similariums, influence. Company, chapel, loyalty 6. Say what? How did that not change? Ah, yes, the Apothecarian gives loyalty 2 as well. Huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Codex Library is a very, it's very in-depth. It's a good thing. They did a very good job on making that feel right. White is still definitely having problems. They don't have a large army. White is in a very dangerous situation of not having enough military units. Yellow is doing very well in keeping an active military. Lots of veteran Marines and tactical Marines. If they wanted to, they could probably bum rush that capital and take it out right now with the units they have. They might lose some of their units, but they would be able to defeat it. I don't think the capital could stop them. That would leave them open to problems with the local wildlife. Ooh. Oh, forgive me. Injasirs killing Omegos. No, I have not bought Elden Ring. I'm most likely not going to. I've never been a fan of the Dark Souls series, and I'm still not. That hasn't changed. And the claims that this is Dark Souls but an MMO are, from the content that I've seen, blatantly false. Like, it's got multiplayer, but an extremely limited invite multiplayer only. That's it. Like, it is not an MMO. It is not, like, it is Dark Souls with the vestiges of multiplayer. I could be wrong. They could not be marketing it as an MMO. But that was what I was originally told. I remember that it was going to be Dark Souls MMO. MMORPG, yeah. It's supposed to be an MMORPG. It is definitely not. Massively multiplayer online game. Single player with barely functional multiplayer. Thanks, but MMO that does not make. Oh, excuse me. So, having seen gameplay of it, and of people playing the multiplayer components of it, it is not an MMO. It is barely multiplayer. So, I'm not going to be getting it. Thanks, I'm not made of money. I've never been one for Elden Ring, or, excuse me, Dark Souls, in the first place. I've definitely had a lot of chatter and talk about it, and been one of those, thanks, I have other things to spend my money on. Definitely a lot of that is very conditional. I'm not going to begrudge the people that do like it. But for anyone who's played an MMO, at any point in their life, yeah, to anyone who has actually played at MMO, it's very much not one of those. It is Dark Souls, but with a barely functional multiplayer thrown on top of it. And thanks. I'd like to think that they maybe solved their coding issues, but I'd like not to find out. For instance, I would say look up the problems they had just before and around launch with the Dark Souls series, where they discovered that the invasion mechanic was allowing people to remote code execute on other people's systems, and all the game had to do was be on. It allowed people to take over machines remotely by pretending to be Dark Souls code. It was dumb. It was very badly made. It was a thing that was no, you done fucked up there, Dark Souls. You let people take over other people's computers. So everyone was playing Dark Souls over the past 3 years has had a wide open door to remote code execution. I'll be honest, brother, I don't care. I don't care what other streamers do. I'm going to do what I do. If I want to stream a game, that's the game that I will stream. I don't care what's popular or what other people like. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You can join in and appreciate that, or you can bugger off. You haven't been here in the past when I've had to deal with people who are like, you should play this game. No, really, you should be playing this game. It's like, no, I don't want to play that game. Thanks, but no. Have a merry fuck off. Enjoy your merry fuckmas. But yeah. People have tried to tell me what to do on this. Like, it would be better for your marketing if you played these games. I'm like, I don't care. I don't like those games. I don't like Dota. I don't care what it would do for my viewership numbers. I'm not going to play it. Because I don't like it. And if I ain't having fun playing the game, the fuck is the point? Now see, here, this is more what I've been expecting to see eventually. But there's still this huge fucking bug problem. The AI is not dealing with it. They have got to deal with these neutrals. They are in so much trouble if they don't deal with those damn bugs. Yes, the idea behind the Ripper Swarms is to give them a unit to blanket the field with, to do zone control, to limit the ability of the enemy to move around. Our Brothers 3 plan. I don't remember what that was. I honestly don't remember what you're talking about. Ah. Oh, we do need... Yeah. Yeah, they really... 1, 2, 3, 10 units of the stupid fucking bugs. Just kill them and get it over with. Just murder the neutral bugs. You, Matt, and I. Oh, Destiny or something else. Yeah, that would have been a fun. But I'm pretty certain all three of us have different enough schedules that it would be almost impossible to do. Yeah, it's there's things to be done here. There's options to be had. We will see how these things work out. Yeah, there's a lot going on these days for me, so I've been pretty busy. Yeah, Purple continues to get mired in dealing with the other bugs. It would happen. it would happen. It's just, you know, I'm married, got kids, man. And, you know, a job. Shit happens. I have to deal with the things in front of me. As much as I love gaming and like occasionally being able to pull off these streams, it's I focus on the family and dealing with them and helping them with the things they need. And it tends to work out best that way for me. If I do those things first, it tends to help out with family concerns a lot better if I I help and do the things I need to do to take care of my family. I only got so much time in the day. Yeah, purple is just continuing to get sand blasted by these stupid bugs. The AI needs to focus on eliminating these things. It's got to do it. It's got to stop faffing about and fucking kill them. Not let them get away from them, just focus them down and murder them. Give you a few minutes, ads just hit. So what? Oh, there's those things. Yeah. Yeah, and they're gonna die and become another unit of bugs. This is why I wish I could figure out the Orc Wog ability and reverse engineer it to give the Tyranids the ability to kill units and get brain use that to get biomass, because it would be natural. It would make fucking sense. The Tyranids would get biomass from the units they kill. Duh. But no, lo and behold, these things don't actually matter. Oh, okay. Well, according to chat, I have Alien Gathering, Loki Ulrich, Mogul Mail, and Orthode UK. So yeah, I love how the chat indicator tells me who's in chat, but the viewer count is just like one person. It's like, yeah, thanks. Reminds me. Let me do a thing here. Uh-oh. That's... Something has gone wrong. Just a second. Something has gone wrong. Give me a hot minute. Okay, my channel. Interesting. Twitch, you fucking suck. Let's try this. It's gonna be a real bitch about things. Let's don't think so. I don't know, I'll say that. Let's things and stuff. Review. Done. Go.
No boom today, boom tomorrow. There's always a boom tomorrow.
There we go. So FYI, I'll take as many of those as you can get. Yeah, we continue to see yellow is still strong. Jousting away with white down here. Balances of forces not changing very much. Into turn 56, and the balance of power continues to stay relatively tilted. All sides have difficult things to deal with. They really need to kill these fucking bugs. The AI just does not appear geared to deal with them. So there's just a mass ball of them out here. Ugh. Nothing to be done about it. Ugh. So yeah, that's the thing. apparently PayPal doesn't like Twitch and is doing horrible things to their payment processing and not allowing payments to go through. That's a thing. Yeah, interesting. PayPal is doing funky things. It wouldn't let me pay using PayPal with Twitch, which is dumb considering I've used it before. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you see how insane this game can get? It's pretty nuts, isn't it? Thought you vanished on me. I was just like, what the fuck? Where'd he go? So I give him a gift sub and he vanishes on me? My own brother? Again, this many neutral units just lingering in here is meaning that the purple AI is focusing on them, but not focusing on them. It's just really dumb. Turning 59, little more than halfway through a standard game length, and they've only barely cleared some of the neutral units in the surrounding area. Oof. Well, that's definitely... Yeah, it's been an hour, roughly. And it's definitely, 2 hours. It's been 2 hours to go through 60 turns. Ish. Oof. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, almost 3 hours for 60 turns. And it's only just now getting to a stable point. I think part of it is that we're watching all of the separate turns of each team. And so we're watching everything that's happening. So I could try and settings, general, try and speed things up a bit. We're not sitting around watching long-ass animations take place anymore. The equivalent of the XCOM mod that's stop wasting my time, just do the thing. I don't need to see the fancy animation every single time it ever happens. Because XCOM was pretty notorious for taking forever because the animations and cutscenes at the beginning and ends of missions were so long. It's like, yes, no, please, just let me skip the animations. Let's just get this done. Let's get this over with and move it on. Yeah, purple is huge. Purple is huge. They've got a massive unit count, but they're doing nothing with it because they can't kill the fucking bugs. Rainbow Six Siege for gaming? I don't know much about that one, sadly. That's not one I've ever really played much. I don't even think I have that one. I think I played it once at a friend's, but that was about it. White and yellow making moves on each other, crowding each other's territory more. Amagos has taken a unit of Vespid Stingwings, using that mind control ability. Finally. Many of the random wild units have a morale low enough to be stolen from the highest point forward. That enslavement ability for the Magos is quite handy. Tactical 5v5 first-person shooter, yeah? Well, for the longest time, my internet was absolute trash. So, a lot of that was very not a good idea. The active first-person shooters are not great when your internet connection blows balls. I honestly might be calling it soon, but I would definitely be up for gaming in the future. If we could arrange something, that would be good. I'll probably be dropping off here to go do something else for a while before I go to sleep. But this is an interesting start of a test, I should say. That the Imperial players are just now poking each other. Veteran Space Marine squads are out in force on both sides. Tech Priest Injasiers are roaming the field in a variety of places. This Astra Militarum AI is taking its sweet time. I should probably just call it a night here. Save. Overwrite. Yes. Exit to main. Alright. So. To my brother, thank you for showing up and hanging out. To Alien Gathering. Lana R.I. Loki Ulrich. Mogul Mail, and Orthod UK. Thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you everyone for hanging out and watching me test these mods together. They do appear to be working. I will probably push an update later today for said mods and play more another day. I'll probably play more after this. Seeing the AI just ham-fisted is kind of disturbing and unpleasing. The opposite of good. I'll catch you all later. Good luck. Goodbye. Internet.